Over to you, Steve. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for that very generous introduction. As was just mentioned, I will be leading 3 of these sessions. This one is a foundational one on a technique called Jobs to be Done, which was pioneered by my mentor, Clayton Christensen. And we put this first because it relates to understanding your customers and your ecosystem partners very deeply. And without that, it's very difficult to innovate in the business model, in your strategies. It sort of has to be rooted in that customer understanding. By way of very quick background, I lead a boutique firm called New Markets Advisors. We're about a dozen people based in Boston, but working globally. And we specialize in new markets, in growth strategy, growth opportunities, bolstering innovativeness, and really just trying to look at both the what of innovation, the particular opportunities, as well as the how, the mechanisms to make that come alive. I founded the company 9 years ago, and we have 3 books out. We'll be talking today about my book, Jobs to be Done. The second in the series will be on my most recent book, Costovation, and I'm very excited to say that just yesterday, Costovation was named one of the top business books of 2018. So that was terrific news to get, to be named one of the best business books. And then we're going to conclude by actually going back to my first book, Capturing New Markets, which is about the strategies that you deploy once you have that customer understanding, once you've thought about the business models. How do you actually go then operationalize those in a new market as distinct from traditional markets that are on very predictable sorts of trajectories? So to begin, I want to give you a bit of a story about ice cream. I am speculating that it's fairly warm wherever you are. Whenever I've been to India, and I've been there many, many times, it has been pretty warm. And so it's often a good time to talk about ice cream. So we actually begin a lot of seminars with companies and industry groups with this question. Okay, so if we are an ice cream company and we need to sell more ice cream, what are we going to do? What are some ideas? And the answers that we typically get really are pretty predictable. More flavors, more distribution, sale prices, 0 calories. A lot of typical things that are not necessarily bad ideas, but they're not really novel ideas either. And you can be sure that everybody else in the ice cream industry has been thinking of exactly those ideas. So we run that mock focus group for a couple minutes. We get all those answers, put them up on a board. And then we change the question. Rather than asking how do we sell more ice cream, let's put you in the shoes of the consumer. The last time you had ice cream, not your friend, not your spouse, but you had an ice cream. Why did you have it? And if you hadn't had ice cream available, what would you have done? Notice I'm talking about not times on average, but the specific last occasion when you had an ice cream. So when you ask that question, you get a very different set of answers. People say, well, I was out with my child and it was after a volleyball game and she had just won and we went out to celebrate and we thought an ice cream would be a nice thing to do, socially bonding. Or I was exploring a new shopping area with my spouse and we saw an ice cream shop and we thought, okay, well, this is sort of a way to test out what's here and just have a fun break in the day. Or I was at home, I'd had a tough day, and after dinner, I just wanted to indulge in something, and there was ice cream calling my name. Or I'd had a spicy dinner, and I was looking to sort of cool off, and my options were a beer or ice cream. So when you ask those questions, you see that ice cream plays a very diverse set of roles in people's lives. And they consume ice cream for a lot of different reasons. And the competitive set for ice cream is also pretty broad. It might be a playground with the person's daughter. It might be checking out a new store for accessories in the shopping mall. It might be indulging with a glass of wine or cooling off with a beer. Now, once you have those insights, you start thinking very, very differently about what your real competition is and what you're selling. And you can start applying it in really novel ways. Now, look, we are not going to suggest beer-flavored ice cream. I don't think that would do very well. But when you understand the jobs that people are trying to get done with ice cream, you then open up a lot of dimensions for innovation. For instance, there's an ice cream company we worked with that has recently come out with a tub of ice cream, a container you get in a grocery store, and it's sort of a chocolate-flavored ice cream, but the unique thing about it is that when you open the lid, you'll see that the center of the ice cream has this big dollop of chocolate goo right there in the center. And to consume this ice cream, you have to mix in that goo really to make it consumable. So this customizes the experience, which generates a little bit of indulgence, but it's also indulgent just to see all this chocolate, which of course you're not going to have in one sitting, or at least I'm not, or my wife would kill me. But to see it all in one place gives you that feeling of indulgence. Moreover, they understand that the consumption of ice cream is about experience. It's not just about the taste. It's not just about a quick way to get a lot of calories, but it's about experiencing something and mixing the